It's definitely been a pretty quick minute since I last uploaded. I deeply apologize for that. To keep it short, I used to have 2 jobs at one point. I now only have 1. I'm down to normal people hours. I hopefully have a little bit more time to breathe. And with that, you know, 7 to 10 hours now freed up total in my week. That either just means extra sleep per day, or if I keep waking up at the same time and just keep my schedule as normal, I should in theory have time to you know, upload at least 1 battle a week. That was kind of embarrassing. I kind of just fell out of interest too, but I'm kind of back into it. I had a 9-hour stream today. It was fantastic, and this is probably one of the better games I had from it. It's against a dude by the name of, I believe, MetalSpider55. I'm using the Mega Pinsir team I used at the tournament that I actually pulled from an RMT, and I'll actually post a link in the description. It's a fantastic team. I definitely have to hand it to the guy that made it. It's wonderful, except for the part where Mega Landers here fails to knock out LATIAS with a knockoff. Something I probably should have calced. It seemed like it would have, because, you know, knockoff is pretty damn good, and Mega Landers is just such a big threat, but it just didn't work out. I don't know if that was min or what. It definitely looked like it could have been. Here, I make a little bit of a mistake. You could definitely say, oh, I was Hyper Cutter instead of Moxie, and that's how you justify megaing earlier. But I had an opportunity at a +1, and I missed it, and I realized that immediately after. Nobody pointed it out at the time. I guess maybe nobody knew I was Moxie, or kind of suspected I was Moxie. But I did have an opportunity to get a free +1 there, and I would have been better equipped against Gliscor. I just missed out. It happens. So the one thing I do kind of make up for it, though, is I know that Gliscor is definitely not... I should be saying Gliscor. It's pronounced Gliscor. I totally just caught myself on that one. Gliscor is not going to want to stay in on a Rotom Wash because it's got Hydro Pump. Toxic Earthquake does not get very far in something that has Levitate, as well as is a very common Resto Chesto user this generation. You know, to an extent, last generation, too, near the end of it, I was beginning to see a lot of special defensive ones that did that. But yeah, he doesn't want to stay in, so I just Volt Switch immediately out into special defensive Heatran. I know I can take on anything reasonably well from Galvantula, even if it's like a Specs Volt Switch, if he just tries to go for that straight out of the bat. But it turns out, just a regular Volt Switch, he's just a regular Sticky Web set, nothing really to write home about. I kind of had an inkling. I went for Lava Plume regardless, because Gliscor will not want to take a Lava Plume, even if it wants to come in and try negating the burn to an extent. Its special defense really isn't great, so that probably would have been the best switch. His best switch probably was this guy. He did have a pretty good chance of it getting burned, but Swampert is kind of it can be a utility poke, so it's not entirely useless. I'm not sure if he got Stealth Rock, so I'm pretty sure he might have gotten Stealth, or maybe that was me. I was the one that got Stealth Rock, so, but Swampert does that, so that's pretty cool. The one thing that I do notice, though, is Rotom Wash is it's a very nice switch into a lot of water grounds, water flyings, shit like that. Just water types in general that have trouble with electric and or levitate. It works out good. He gets 2 crits in a row. I actually just noticed that right now. So that has no correlation with what I was talking about, actually. It just really sucks. It's not that bad, though. Those crits are whatever. I'm still at, like, 60%. Easy. I can rest on him. I got him burned. It's a really poor matchup. I don't understand why he's staying in, but I guess he wants me to get out before he brings something else in safely. He got the rocks up, so, I mean, Swampert definitely fulfilled its purpose here. Watch it come back in 3rd gen and just utterly wreck my shit. At least its little buddy Mega Sceptile is going to put the nail in the coffin for this thing. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out. He goes for a Burn Waterfall. Only does 10 damage. Shit, you know, I'm just Hydro Pumping, kind of thinking he's going to switch. I don't know. I'm just really, really, really wanting him to switch. Because, you know, I can just keep Hydro Pumping all day. I can take him out, or he can do something about it. Recognize the fact that I'm just going to go for that. I really wanted a Volt Switch here. I decided, you know what, let's rest early. I think he actually predicted me to do this because I was at kind of a cushy range where either I could have or I couldn't. If I was lower, it would have been more assured. But at the range that I was at, he actually, I don't know, I guess he kind of caught on my wavelength right there. That was a really good time because Swampert was burned and everything. And I was probably going to think he was going to switch or something like that. So, hey, it kind of worked out for him. Let me see what we got going on here. So, Thunder from Galvantula is not really going to do too much of special defensive Heatran. It hurts, but I actually think I can take 2, especially after I go for a Protect. and I can just retaliate with a Lava Plume. I think I just protect right now just to be safe in case that was like min damage. And then he rolls like Ultra Max because, you know what? Let me tell you about rolling mins against him and him potentially rolling maxes. That could happen. So, another one with a little bit of extra lefties recovery. If anything, it just, I don't know. But it turns out that I take it fairly well, and I'm just able to straight up knock him out. So, Lava Plume doing the work. I don't have to worry about Galvantula anymore. I forgot. I think I do have a spinner. I have a spinner or a defogger on this team. I'm pretty sure I have a defogger in the form of Latias. It's really cool to actually like piece together why Bisharp is here, because when you would try to defog to get rid of the sticky web, would get the Defiant, and that thing is just absolutely terrifying because Latias, you know, all of a sudden it just clicks. It just clicks really well. Okay, I've been out of the scene for like 5 weeks. I have to put 2 and 2 together, and nobody holds my hand with this. It's a little bit emotional. Right here, oh my god, if only I had a Volt Switch. I don't know, I just didn't want to get Sucker Punched. I mean, it seemed a little bit aggressive in my mind. If I'd have done it, I definitely would have been like running across the house, just like screaming how awesome that was. But that's okay. I figure a pretty safe play to do right here is go into Latias though, because I can take a Flamethrower just fine. I can take a Fire Blast just fine too. I think the best thing he can hit me with is probably a Dragon Pulse or an Air Slash. I know Solar Beam is probably going to be the more tempting option on Rotom Wash, which is why, you know what, hey, I decided to go for it. If you want to predict the switch on Latias and go for Fire Blast, it would do a pretty considerable amount to anything that wasn't Latias as well. For now, he goes into Bisharp. I believe I ended up going for a Draco Meteor because this is a Life Orb Draco Meteor, if I'm not mistaken. Even a regular one, I'm pretty sure would be able to take out a Charizard from the 50.06% health that happens to be at. So, hey. Draco Meteor does a pretty good amount to this thing, too. But the thing about Bisharps is you do not want to attack them with something that's weak to Sucker Punch. If anything, I'm actually going to hang on to this Latias. I got big plans for you, babe. It's going to work out, I promise. So, I go into Tentacruel right now because it turns out I actually have a Rapid Spin and a Defogger on this team. Because that's how it was written, and I didn't really even question it. But hey, goes for a knockoff, which actually does a pretty considerable amount, but I am physically defensive. This has actually won me games a few times, having a physically defensive Tentacruel. And getting clutch Scalds and stuff like that is fantastic. I don't know if that actually had a chance to like not kill because it was in the sun and everything, but it did just enough, so I'm actually pretty okay with that. Charizard's going to come back in, and this is why you actually carry an odd number for HP, because you actually get to do this right now. You actually get to switch in with 1 HP, go for Solar Beam, and take out my Tentacruel. So, hey, I didn't do that with my Pinsir, so I should really just shut up. Yeah, you're going to see it come in on Stealth Rocks, and this is actually a lesson in, like, what not to do, because if I'd had I don't know. Actually, no, I guess it didn't really come into play. But the point is, I have an even HP number, and you don't want that for stuff that's weak to Stealth Rocks in general. So, I'm going to go for a Frustration right now. I have Frustration over Return because if Dittos come in and try to trace it, they tend to run Max Happiness for stuff that has Return. So, I mean, it looks cooler when Mega Pinsir goes for Frustration anyway, because it looks freaking pissed in the first place. I see Toxic Gliscor, so I was like, oh, okay, you know what? He's probably going to have Protect and Earthquake and Sub, or Protect and Earthquake and Ice Fang. I don't know. Turns out he tries to double Toxic, actually expecting my switch. And I see no reason to just not go for another Frustration. I mean, even if he Protects, I still want to scout out to see whether or not he actually does have it. It's confirmed that he does, so that's fine. You know, it was just an inkling I had. Just wanted to confirm before I did anything weird. But we know he has Protect, Toxic. He's probably got Earthquake, which is why he's not using it. He definitely doesn't have a flying move, otherwise he would have gone for it by now. I think we learned later that his 4th move is actually Ice Fang, which he definitely should have tried to go for at least once in the past. But I go to my Latias because I actually don't like the fact that Mega Pinsir has so much poison on it, but you'll notice that I've switched out while Stealth Rocks are up, and I was below half HP. So, in theory, I should not be able to switch back in. That's where Latias actually wins me the match. I'm actually going to say it going forward right here. I wanted this to happen, this exact situation to happen desperately, because it means Pinsir can come in. Healing Wish actually heals the Pokemon before it takes entry hazards damage and also gets rid of status conditions. So would you look at that? I went from having 22 health and being poisoned back up to full and took the Stealth Rocks damage again. I probably could have had an opportunity to defog in there. I just didn't know how that was going to play out. I also didn't know whether or not he had Ice Fang. That definitely could have taken me out, and then I would have just ultimately lost the game from there. I figure this is pretty good, because even if he goes for Toxic and then Protect, I can just go for another Swords Dance. I'm pretty sure I can take an Ice Fang from the range of HP I was at. In fact, you guys saw me just take one right there, so if he tried to go for it, I would have had a free Swords Dance in this boat anyway. So anything outside of crits, I was feeling pretty secure, and all he has left is a Burnt Swampert to take a Frustration right now. So he has this and Gliscor. I believe I had one other poke left after Pinsir, but yeah, Jesus Christ, Mega Pinsir bringing it home with the ultimate assist from LATIAS. You know, I've never had Healing Wish bring a poke that close to the brink, and that's why the guy that made this RMT runs Healing Wish, because of situations like this. So shout out to you, dude, for actually coming up with a freaking awesome team. I'm having so much fun with this. And I had a lot of fun with this game, more importantly, as well as at the stream. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed the narration, too. If you did, you can definitely leave a like rating. Comment, subscribe, do your thing. I know it's been a while. I'm really going to try. I'm really going to try this time. I really, 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 really am going to try. I feel like now I have a lot of games backed up. I can actually make stuff work out. I've got at least 20 games just sitting, not uploaded, and I haven't been there just because I've been too tired mentally and physically and all that stuff. You guys know how it works. I get stretched really thin, you know, having 2 jobs, being in a relationship, more or less having a social life, and having other commitments on top of just uploading in general. There's not enough hours in the day, it feels like, but, you know, I have a little bit of control back on my schedule. And I'm just really excited to actually be, you know, battling and doing all this stuff again, because I really miss it, and I really missed you guys. But that's going to be it for me. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And with that, I will definitely see you guys next time. Bye-bye.